With the Federal Reserve raising rates yet again just the other day, what does it all mean for the housing market here in Ocean City, both now and in the future? In today's video, I'm going to dive into my take on what we should expect now and going forward based on not only what Jerome Powell did say, but also what some leading experts are expecting. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the channel for this very timely video, and I think this is going to be one you definitely don't want to miss. If this is your first time here, I cover real estate all in the Ocean City, New Jersey area, provide my context and take to the national headlines, and so much more. If you want to be among the first to know when something is changing here in the market, make sure you hit subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so that you are in the loop. Now, the Fed has been raising rates consistently over the past several months, and there have been a variety of different takes and projections and forecasts over that timeline. But now is the first time that I personally feel like things have materially changed in a way that you don't want to take for granted. Now, I have to say this just like I always do. I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody does. Nobody can predict the future. However, we can learn from the past, look at the data, which is what you know I absolutely love, to help us make an informed guess as to what is going to happen. Now, with that said, Ivy Zelman, if you haven't heard of Ivy, she is the tops of the tops in the real estate industry when it comes to digging into the data, which is why she is the expert that I track and that I trust the most. Unlike all of the other big names out there, Ivy Zelman and her team at Zelman and Associates have been the only ones who have forecasted for a price decrease, not just a deceleration, since the last Fed meeting. If I'm recalling correctly, they had it at about a 3% decline over 2023, while every other name had it at a least 2.5–3% increase in appreciation. Now, based off this meeting and what she has seen, Ivy has changed her forecast down a bit. She is now expecting nationally home prices to drop 4% through 2023 and another 5% in 2024. And I have to say, I believe that Ivy is right and may even be conservative. If you've been following me for any length of time, when we talk about the potential downside, my worst case estimate was a 5 to 10% decline down the road. And the benchmarks that I were watching were twofold. Number one, if we were going to get and stay above 6% in interest rates, and number two, if inventory gets back at or above 300 available properties at the same time. We have had the mortgage rates at 6%. They've jumped up a little bit more just in the last few days, closer to 6.25%. And inventory is creeping up towards that 300 level very, very quickly. The fact that all of this is happening as we typically head into a slower period in our annual cycle once we hit the month of October, that means we're going to be in for a very slow fall and winter market here in Ocean City. Jerome Powell said it himself. If you go back and watch his video, watch his speech, or read the transcripts, he is calling for a housing correction. He knows that supply and demand have been very out of whack in the past 2.5 years, and affordability is at an all-time worst, even worse than 2008. So the Fed clearly has the housing market in their sights to take it down a notch to help bring things back into balance. So what does that all mean? If you're considering buying, honestly, my message is still the same. If you find the perfect home and it's at a price that you can tolerate and live with and you're going to meet your family's goals, it's still something you should consider, especially as we get into the fall and winter. There's going to be much less demand. The supply is going up. You're going to have the ability to actually negotiate, to poke around a little bit, to take your time, which is something we haven't seen in the last 2.5 years. Now, on the other hand, if you don't find something that fits your needs, let's talk this through a little bit, because if prices do go down in the 4 to 5% range over the next few years, that is likely going to coincide with mortgage rate increases. So are you actually saving if you wait? Not necessarily. You may actually end up with a higher monthly payment, even if the prices come down. But as a second home market, that is not the most important factor for most of you. For most of you, it is you're looking for the ideal situation. Nobody has to buy. Same that most sellers do not have to sell. It's that catch-22 that makes my job a lot of fun. So you may be better suited keeping a watchful eye on the market, watching for price reductions, new listings over the coming months. And if you see something that you like, reach out to me. Again, my contact information, as always, is in the description. I live on the island. I eat, sleep, and breathe here. This is what I know and love, and I would be happy to guide you. Now, if you are looking to sell or you're considering selling, we have a very short window that's open right now before things truly slow down. If you are not going to make the move in that short window, I would encourage you to wait and see how things play out over the coming months. Not only do we have another Fed meeting in November and another one in December, we also have elections in November. So there are some things that could shift this market back in your favor, but honestly, it could go the other way too. So if that's something you're considering, I'd be happy to help you strategize because, again, we're in a very volatile time. This is a unique market that we haven't seen before. In the past, any housing market recession was caused by factors outside of just inflation or just low inventory. Like we had the mortgage issues back in 2008, 1990, it was totally different. This is unique. Inventory, if it is still going to stay relatively low, and even at 300, that is historically low by about 50+%. But it's just the demand has dropped so far that that number is now going to matter. As more people do decide to sell and put their homes on the market, the competition is going to increase. So whether you do it now, whether you do it in the spring, let's talk about a timeline that works for you to help you achieve your goals and not work on the whims of the market alone. We are certainly in for some interesting times in the coming weeks and months. So once again, if you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe down below. If you do want to join up with my weekly newsletter where I provide my candid takes, make sure that you drop your email address in the comment or just shoot me a text or email, and I would be happy to sign you up for that because this is something that you need to stay on top of. There are going to be windows of opportunity that open, and simply put, you don't want to miss it. That's it for today. I appreciate you spending time with me as always, and I will see you on the next video.